Okay, it's recording. How do you start these things? This is not as fun as what they say it is. Lights, camera, action, boom. Hey guys, my name is Matt Capuana and I am the founder and owner of Sodor Studios, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I thought I'd do a little get to know me kind of thing, as this is my first video on this channel, which is totally not nerve-wracking in any way. So if this is a really bad video, then I'm sorry. It's a work in progress. So I thought I'd do a little Q&A as you guys send me a bunch of questions through my Instagram stories and basically just answer a bunch of questions that you guys sent me. So to fill you guys in on who I am a record producer based in Melbourne, Australia. I started my company Sodor Studios back in June or July of 2020 during the middle of the pandemic. I had no intentions of starting the business that early. I was in the middle of an audio degree at Collarts doing a Bachelor of Audio Production. I had no intentions of starting a company halfway through my final year of studies, but the pandemic gives you a lot of time to do a whole bunch of stuff that you didn't think you could do before. So screw it, let's start a business, and it's been great ever since day one. Couldn't have thanked everyone more for the support and the motivation to continue doing what I'm doing today. And that's just a little bit about me. So basically I'll just answer a bunch of questions that you guys sent to me on a poll that I put up on my Instagram story. So we'll get to that now. So question number one, what band has the best drum sound mixing wise? So this can really depend on the type of genre that you listen to. Because I like to listen to punk, prog, classic rock kind of stuff, my drum mixing influence kind of varies time to time, and whatever the music needs, that's what the drum mix should be. If you've got a track that's super live, the more roomy that you can make a track, the more reverberant that you can make a drum track, the better. But look, honestly, it all comes down to taste. So if we're going to start in the realm of talking favorite drum mix, I would have to say the song Goliath by Carnival, that was produced by Forrester Saville, is an amazing sounding drum track. Forrester is a super talented producer. I found that a lot of that influence on his sound has come into my work a lot. Overall, that drum mix is fantastic. If we're starting to talk in different genres, we can't go past how great Led Zeppelin's When the Levee Breaks is. That is probably one of the best drum mixes of all time. That's probably everyone's favorite drum mix. It's an incredible track. It's the same beat throughout with the right effects put onto it that fit the track really well. I had the pleasure of doing a tutorial with a company called Noisegate. They are also based in Melbourne, Australia. They basically asked me if I could film this video. So basically what I did is recorded my drums in this room here, my untreated room, pretty much with some sort of inspiration from other tutorials that I've seen. I built a drum mix that sounds close to When the Levee Breaks. You'll never get as accurate as When the Levee Breaks is. Pretty much because we'll never have that Henley Grange sound. We won't have the mics, won't have the same drums, and it all comes down to the drummer. And unfortunately, we won't have another drum bottom. You can get super close, but you'll never get the exact sound that is When the Levee Breaks. But we can do it in the box. That is an amazing thing, and that is something that we should be thankful for, that we can get extremely close with a bunch of plugins and a good amount of knowledge, knowing what each plugin does and how to utilize those tools correctly can get you the sound that you want. So the next question is, how long do you spend on each project? Say we're working on an album, a 12-track album, that can vary differently to a project that's a single. If you're working on an album, that could be a 5 to 6 month project with the recording, the mixing and the mastering and making sure everything is correct, and the whole process of listening through every single track and making sure that the whole group or the single artist is happy with everything. That could be a 5 to 6 month process. If you're working on a single, that could just be a couple of months or it could be not even a month of recording, mixing, mastering. If that is the one thing that you're doing the entire time, it shouldn't take more than a month. And that is you doing it correctly from the start. And it all comes down to your varying level of expertise. If you're in your beginning stages of knowing how to mix and master and record, then it's going to be a long process to understand how to get it to a level that you want it to be. If you're listening to tracks on the radio and you go, damn, I want it to sound exactly like that, it's going to take you a long time to get it sounding exactly like that, because you need to do the studying, you need to do the learning, you need to do the research to know how to get those sounds. But if you have a level of expertise that is of a professional, then you're going to know straight from the beginning how long this is going to take. And if you dedicate your time to it from the very beginning, then the project it'll work itself out and everyone's going to be happy and the artist is going to be very pleased with the project itself. It all comes down to the size of the project. I've worked on a couple of EPs now, a bunch of singles. I've assisted on a couple of albums, but yeah, those can take a lot of time. It all comes down to the dedication of everyone and how good everyone is with their time managing. So I got a question. Who or what was your inspiration to go into recording? If we're talking about who, then I would say Butch Vig, Leslie Braithwaite, Andy Wallace, Andrew Sheps, CLA, Chris Lord Algie or Chris Lord Algie. I don't know how exactly to say it, so yeah. Oh gosh, there's so many to list that I've just gone blank. I have a lot of inspiration when it comes to my recording and my projects. When it comes to maybe the songs, maybe the albums that inspired me, I would have to say Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band is a massive influence. That is an incredibly sounding album. More recently, like as I got into the recording area, Ebon Ivory's The Long Dream I is a fantastic album as well. I would highly recommend you guys check that out. I don't think they're a band anymore, but the way that every song flows into the next, it's like a story is being told. And I think it's 13, 12 tracks. It's an amazing album and I highly recommend checking it out. So a question here from Jack Benfold. Favorite plugin for saturation/distortion? So look, you can't go wrong with Soundtoys Decapitator. That is a fantastic sounding saturation plugin. It is fantastic for all purposes. You can't go wrong with it, especially with the different styles it has. It's a fantastic distortion box. If we're going into other plugins as well, because like obviously I use Soundtoys Decapitator is my main one, but I don't obviously just use that. I like to be able to branch it out a little bit. I really enjoy Slate Digital's virtual tape machine, and Waves J37 tape is a great little saturation box. Not a saturation box, more tape saturation. Gets a really nice sound. It's very gritty. And it can be very musical in the top end as well. The way it clips off that signal and it makes it sound really nice. Slate Digital's New York, London, and Hollywood, they are all fantastic for their own uses. And a cool little fun fact, if you guys don't know about it, for the Slate Digital Virtual Mix Rack, the 1116 compressor, if you hold shift and click on the attack knob, it kind of just disengages those knobs, the attack and release knobs. And basically, if you just crank the input and bring down the output, you will get a really interesting sounding saturation. I don't really use it for everything. I think it's great, but I think it has its own taste and flavor to it that can't be used for everything. It wouldn't be something that I'd overload always, but it can be very musical if you do use it correctly. So pretty much that's going to be the end of this video for now. If you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments below. I will have a few other videos coming your way when I do have the time to do it. So when I do find the time, I'll be making more videos. I have a whole bunch of ideas lined up. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more notifications, and I will see you guys soon. Later.